Alright guys, Fuller coming to you with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. If you like this video, please feel free to like the video. And if you want to, please feel free to subscribe to the page. It's always by choice, never by force. So I want to talk about the underhanded war games that the United States are playing right now. And it doesn't take a blind man to really see what's going to happen, what they're preparing to do. So rather than focus on new ways to, combat this coronavirus, which we're dealing with right now, it seems like the Trump administration is more hell-bent on regime change in Venezuela. And it seems like that the Trump administration is hell-bent on slicing the cake of Venezuela between it and countries in the EU who support what it's doing over there, or what is prepared to do over there. So the United States has decided that it was necessary to put Navy warships off the coast of Venezuela to combat narco trafficking. Now they're saying President Maduro is a narco terrorist. They said that about Hugo Chavez as well. It's nothing new, okay? So they called, and they're actually charging Nicolas Maduro with narco terrorism. They're actually trying to give him some trumped up charges, saying that he is indeed drug trafficking. Now here's the thing about that, and why that story is not going to sit with me, and why I'm not going to buy that story. Number one, Venezuela is not a producer of coca. As a matter of fact, if you watch the show Locked Up Abroad, there's a couple of stories of people actually trying to smuggle in drugs into Venezuela. If Venezuela was a producer of coca, why would they try to smuggle drugs into Venezuela if they have a supply of it already? Number two, when you look at Miami, for example, and if you watch that documentary, Cocaine Cowboys, most of the beef about drug turf had to do with Colombians and Cubans. No, the thing is that Colombia, they produce coca. I mean, we have Griselda Blanco, we have Carlo Escobar, and we have the Medellin cartel and the Cali cartels, right? Another place that produces it in Latin America is Bolivia. Bolivian fish scale. Don't ask me how I know about it, okay? Another place that produces it, Peru. Peruvian fish scale. If you look in Miami, although there are a lot of Venezuelans in Miami, there's a lot there. You will run into a lot of them in that city, okay? None of them have their hand in the drug game, okay? That wasn't even their concern when the Miami Vice came out and all that, and it got that appeal. Drugs were never their appeal. That never appealed to them. Okay? Never, never, never. So, that argument that just basically refutes everything that Trump is doing. So, what I am predicting, and I really truly believe is going to happen, I really, in the back of my head, believe that while this coronavirus smoke screen is going on, I know there is some truth to it. But while this is going on, I guarantee you that the United States is going to exercise military force in Venezuela. They've been hell bent on regime change since Hugo Chavez got there. Okay? I'm reading another book right now that there was a point in time in Venezuela where the elites ate so well, right? But the other people, the average Venezuelan, was at a point where they didn't eat at all, that much at all, and that they had to actually give blood to be able to have some money for food. Okay? This is how that situation was at one point. It was that crucial. I'm telling you. So if a situation is that crucial and a person comes along who changes it, and of course it's a work in progress, don't get it twisted. It takes time. Hugo Chavez didn't have enough time to do it. Nicolas Maduro needs more time to do it. But the fact of the matter is, this country doesn't want to give them time. They just want to take the cake, okay? I'm telling you right now that Venezuela is like Libya, okay? In the sense that Libya had mad petrol, Libya had natural resources, Libya was doing new irrigation techniques, doing water in the desert, like getting water from the Sahara Desert and new farming in the desert. They were doing all types of things, okay? But the country wanted the cake, in which it had, and it took the cake, along with France and Italy and Belgium. And they want to do the same with Venezuela. There is no narco trafficking in Venezuela. I believe there is a black market for sure. Like everywhere else, there is a black market. But they're doing these trumped up accusations that hold no weight. Okay? You have to look at the country's track record. Okay? I'm going to just break down a little bit of a timeline with what this country does to encourage regime change and therefore spend more money that it could be used for getting this thing under control, this pandemic in a controlled way. But no, it rather used military force and other means to meddle with someone else instead of taking care of people here. Because I'm going to tell you something, going to a hospital here, I've talked to RNs and they tell me what's going on, okay? And you don't want to know about it. You have to understand the history of this country when it comes to imperialism. Let's take, for example, Vietnam. In Vietnam, they were allegedly trying to stop the spread of communism, right? It had nothing to do with communism. It had to do with opium. They wanted it. And they got it. And they got a large control of it. What does opium become? Heroin. What does heroin become? More people in jail, notably minorities. What does the war on drugs bring? Harsher sentences. Collaboration with Latin American governments who really dislike, who really only care about a few people's well-being and not the majority's well-being. Example number 2, Iraq. You know, the thing is about the Gulf War, it was over oil. had nothing to do with no territorial dispute. I believe it may have been Kuwait or something trying to establish some kind of, I want to say, oil digging in the ground to extract oil from Iraq in case they ran dry. I believe, don't quote me on it, but the reason why that conflict went on was over money. And fast forward, we have the George Bush, who said, yes, Iraq had chemical weapons, Iraq had mustard gas and all this, that, and the other. Inspectors go over there, the inspectors don't find anything. Iraq is cooperative with those instructors, but yet that did not stop George Bush from attacking. And look at where the country is now, and look at the fact that they're still at war with Iraq. And it's been, I forgot when that war started. I think that war started in, I believe, 2003. That's when the war first kicked off. And look at what's going on. No, the quality of life for Iraqis has not gone up. In fact, it's probably went down. And also, the simple fact is that a leader was involved that really didn't have the interests of the people, but had United States interests, Noor al-Maliki. Now let's go to Afghanistan. At first, the first enemy was Russia. So the United States figured that since they were so hell-bent against Russia at the time, that they can arm Afghanis against Russia. And they did just that. But they didn't know those Afghanis were going to turn out to be hardline Islamists. And so they ended up harboring Islamist groups, which in turn, quote unquote, blew up the towers. So now, the United States decides to go to war with Afghanistan, right? We know this story, war on terror. We got to stop. It is a base of terrorist operations and things like that. But again, it had nothing to do with terrorism. It has to do with the fact that Afghanistan sits on billions upon billions of dollars of natural resources, and also that there are poppy seeds in Afghanistan. As a matter of fact, when the war commenced, poppy cultivation actually went up in Afghanistan. So what does that tell you? What's the underlying reason for it going over there? What's the underlying reason for to have a coup in Bolivia and oust the president who was democratically elected in fair elections? You have to understand. It's always like this. No matter what. And you have to look at another thing too. Here's something else that needs to be kept in mind. It's so hell-bent on regime change over there in Venezuela that it's not taking account for the things it's doing right now with this coronavirus. This coronavirus is something serious from the looks of it, from what we're seeing and whatnot. And the thing that boggles my mind is that you rather spend money that you don't have on attacking a sovereign nation when you're stealing masks for the coronavirus. You pirated masks from Germany.
and you're withholding masks from Canada that need to go to the doctors. Come on now. And I just read these reports, by the way. So this country, in its imperialist ways, will continue to be imperialist, and we'll be holding our breath, waiting for them to change. They're not going to change, okay? And the majority of people will agree with the actions that they're doing, because you have all these patriotic people who, these are the same people who say USA, they're the same people who say that shit. This country is not even their country. This country is a settler colony, okay? Let's get it real. It's a settler colony. First were the Indians, then the Hispanics came, then after that Europeans came, and then with them they decided to enhance chattel slavery, and that's America in a nutshell. It just happens that those European descendants happen to be the last ones to come and happen to usurp the most power while they came. But it still doesn't mean it belongs to them. Although they act as such. Today, actually, it was crazy. There was actually a woman, because I was playing my music loud while I was going to see the homegirl. She had the nerve to come out and say, "Can you turn it down?" And I said, "No." Right? And she said, "This is my neighborhood." And I said, "I don't give a rat's ass whose neighborhood it is. It's my ears, and they want to hear high volume." It'll be a cold day in hell before I show them any fear whatsoever, because it doesn't exist in my body. And that's how these other nations need to be when it comes to standing against these imperial tactics. Okay? If one nation does it, then other nations can catch on and do it too. That's all I'm saying. But anyhow, man, that's all I got for now. Leave your thoughts and leave your comments about what more or less is to come in Venezuela, which is military intervention. They're already, as I said, those ships are there, and those ships are not to stop narco trafficking. They're to rehearse an attack on Venezuela, all while this whole corona thing is going on. But anyhow, leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Fuller signing out. Inshallah.